In the grand tapestry of history, some figures stand out not just for their power, but for their character, their chivalry, and the sheer force of their will. Today, we journey back to the 12th century, a time of clashing civilizations and epic conflicts, to uncover the story of a man whose name echoed from the deserts of Arabia to the courts of Europe, Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi, known in the West as Saladin. This is the story of the man who defied empires and reshaped history. Born in 1137 in Tikrit, in modern-day Iraq, Salahuddin was of Kurdish descent. His early life gave little hint of the legend he would become. He was a quiet, scholarly young man, more interested in theology and mathematics than in the art of war. But destiny had other plans. His family served the powerful Zengid dynasty, and it wasn't long before young Salahuddin was drawn into the turbulent politics and military campaigns of the era. His uncle, Shirkuh, a brilliant general, became his mentor, teaching him the strategies and tactics that would one day make him a master of the battlefield. The stage for Salahuddin's rise was Egypt. The once mighty Fatimid Caliphate was crumbling, weakened by internal strife, and threatened by the Crusader Kingdom of Jerusalem. In 1169, after a series of daring campaigns alongside his uncle, Salahuddin found himself as the vizier of Egypt. Following his uncle's death, he consolidated his power, skillfully navigating the treacherous political landscape. He abolished the Fatimid Caliphate and brought Egypt back under the fold of the Sunni Abbasid Caliphate, a move that not only unified his base but also established him as a major power player in the Muslim world. With Egypt as his foundation, Salahuddin's vision expanded. He saw a fractured Muslim world, divided by petty rivalries while the Crusader states held a precarious grip on the Holy Land. He believed it was his destiny to unite the Muslim forces from Syria to Mesopotamia under a single banner. This wasn't just a quest for power, it was a sacred mission. For over a decade, he campaigned tirelessly, using a combination of brilliant diplomacy and decisive military action. He was a master of siege warfare, but also knew when to offer generous terms to a defeated foe, often winning over former enemies to his cause. By 1186, he had forged a formidable empire, the Ayyubid Sultanate, stretching from Egypt to Syria, finally creating a unified front against the Crusaders. Now, with the Muslim world united behind him, Salahuddin turned his gaze to his ultimate goal, the liberation of Jerusalem. The city, sacred to Muslims, Christians, and Jews alike, had been under Crusader control since 1099. The catalyst for war came in 1187. A reckless Crusader lord, Reynold of Chatillon, repeatedly violated a truce by attacking Muslim caravans and even threatening the holy cities of Mecca and Medina. Salahuddin's patience ran out. He swore an oath to bring Reynold to justice. He gathered a massive army and marched to meet the combined forces of the Kingdom of Jerusalem. The two armies clashed on a scorched, waterless plain near the Horns of Hattin. Salahuddin's genius as a strategist was on full display. He chose the battlefield, luring the heavily armored Crusader knights into a trap. He cut off their access to water, set fires to choke them with smoke, and harassed them relentlessly with his light cavalry. The Crusader army, dehydrated and exhausted, was decimated. The Battle of Hattin was one of the most decisive victories in medieval history. The military might of the Kingdom of Jerusalem was shattered in a single day. With the Crusader field army destroyed, city after city fell to Salahuddin's forces. Finally, he stood before the walls of Jerusalem. After a short siege, the city surrendered on October 2, 1187. What happened next cemented Salahuddin's legend not just as a conqueror, but as a man of honor. The world braced for a bloodbath, a repeat of the brutal massacre that had occurred when the first Crusaders took the city 88 years earlier. But Salahuddin chose a different path. He chose mercy. He forbade any killing or looting. He allowed the citizens to ransom themselves, and for those who couldn't afford it, he and his brother paid the ransom out of their own pockets. He ensured the safe passage of thousands of Christian residents and protected their holy sites. This act of chivalry and compassion stunned Europe and earned him the admiration of his enemies. Even his Christian chroniclers wrote of his magnanimity. The fall of Jerusalem sent shockwaves across Europe, sparking the Third Crusade. The most powerful kings of Christendom, Richard the Lionheart of England, Philip Augustus of France, and Frederick Barbarossa of the Holy Roman Empire took up the cross to reclaim the Holy City. What followed was a legendary two-year duel between two of history's most iconic warriors, Salahuddin and Richard the Lionheart. They were fierce adversaries on the battlefield, but they also developed a deep mutual respect. There are famous tales, like Salahuddin sending his personal physicians to treat a feverish Richard, or sending fresh fruit and ice to cool him. When Richard's horse was killed in battle, one story claims Salahuddin sent him 2 fresh mounts, saying a king should not fight on foot. They fought to a stalemate. Richard won several key battles, like the Battle of Arsuf, but he could never break through to capture Jerusalem. Salahuddin's strategic depth and the resilience of his forces proved too much. In 1192, exhausted and with their armies depleted, they signed the Treaty of Ramla. Jerusalem would remain under Muslim control, but Christian pilgrims would be granted safe and free access to their holy shrines. It was a pragmatic peace, a testament to the respect these two great leaders had for one another. Richard sailed for England, and Salahuddin returned to his capital in Damascus. But the years of constant warfare had taken their toll. Just a few months after the treaty, in March 1193, Salahuddin fell ill with a fever and died at the age of 56. When his treasury was opened to pay for his funeral, his advisors were shocked. The great Sultan, ruler of a vast empire, had given away nearly all his wealth to his subjects and to charity. There wasn't even enough money left to pay for a simple burial. He died as he had lived, a man who sought not personal gain, but the well-being of his people and the service of his faith. So who was Salahuddin? He was a military genius who unified the Muslim world. He was a devout man who liberated Jerusalem. But perhaps his most enduring legacy is his character. In an age of brutality, he was a beacon of chivalry, mercy, and honor. He was a leader respected not just by his friends, but by his staunchest enemies. His story is not just one of conquests and battles. It's a timeless lesson in leadership, integrity, and the idea that true greatness is measured not by what you conquer, but by the compassion you show in victory. He wasn't just a sultan. He was Salahuddin, the man who proved that even in the heart of war, humanity can prevail. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the past. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more stories of the figures who shaped our world. Let us know in the comments which historical figure you'd like to see next. Until then, keep exploring history.